There was a time when no one believed Jane Fonda would become anything more than just another pretty face in Hollywood, someone who would fade away with time. But Jane had something inside her that no one saw coming. She had fire, strength, and a silent promise to herself that she would never be ignored. She was the daughter of famous actor Henry Fonda, and many thought her success would come easy. But Jane didn't want to live in her father's shadow. She wanted her own light. At first, people didn't take her seriously. They said she was just lucky, just another actress who got roles because of her name. But behind the scenes, Jane was working harder than anyone. She studied acting deeply, she trained, she listened, and she grew. She started doing roles that challenged her, roles that showed emotion, pain, and power. Slowly, Hollywood had to stop and look again. This was not just another face on the screen. This was someone who had something real to say. As the years passed, she took roles that shocked everyone, serious, deep, and unforgettable. Then, she did something no one expected. She stepped off the screen and into real life with the same energy. She spoke up about war, about women's rights, about injustice. People were stunned. How could a Hollywood actress be this brave? Jane didn't stop. Every time the world told her to stay quiet, she got louder. Every time they told her to be perfect, she got real. But with all her strength, there was always a mystery behind her eyes. A silent sadness. What was it that pushed her so hard? Why did she seem to carry a weight that others didn't see? Was it something from her past? Something she never talked about? Jane Fonda was building a legacy, step by step, and yet she never acted like she was finished. She kept changing, kept growing, like a woman on a mission with a clock ticking behind her. People admired her, feared her, and followed her. But very few truly knew her. Even today, after all the awards, all the headlines, and all the applause, there is still something about Jane that pulls people in. Something we haven't fully understood, and now, with a tragic diagnosis hanging over her, the world is looking back and asking, who was Jane Fonda? Really? What drove her to fight so hard, live so boldly, and still keep so much hidden behind her smile? The answers may lie in the life she lived, the risks she took, and the pain she never let the world see. And maybe, just maybe, she always knew that one day, when she finally says goodbye, the world will still be trying to figure out the truth behind her eyes. People always saw Jane Fonda smiling on red carpets, giving interviews with calm confidence, standing tall in front of cameras like nothing could shake her. But very few knew the truth hiding behind that strong face. Behind the fame, behind the beauty, and behind the power was a woman who had been quietly fighting battles since childhood. Jane's life looked perfect from the outside, but inside it was full of pain, confusion, and deep emotional scars. Her mother died by suicide when Jane was just a young girl, and that one moment left a hole in her heart that never really healed. She grew up feeling unloved, unwanted, and lost, especially because her father, though famous and respected, was distant and emotionally cold. Jane spent years trying to earn his love, his attention, and his approval, but it always felt out of reach. This made her feel like she was never enough. As she got older, those feelings didn't just disappear. They followed her into adulthood like a shadow she couldn't escape. Even after becoming famous, those childhood wounds still whispered in her mind at night. She developed eating disorders, struggled with her self-image, and carried guilt she couldn't explain. She once said that for many years, she didn't even know who she really was. She was just playing roles, not just on screen, but in real life too. She was pretending to be happy, pretending to be perfect, pretending to be strong when inside she was breaking. The world cheered her success, but no one saw her private pain. What was she hiding all this time? Why didn't she open up sooner? Was she afraid of looking weak? Or was the weight of her secrets just too heavy to share? These questions make her story even more emotional, because behind every award, every bold speech, and every headline was a woman carrying a lifetime of sadness that no one ever truly understood. And yet, even with all that pain, Jane kept going. She kept working, kept fighting, kept showing up. But now, as she faces a tragic diagnosis, it feels like all those hidden parts of her life are slowly being revealed. Her fans are seeing her not just as a star, but as a human, someone who has been through deep emotional storms and still kept walking. And as more of her truth comes to light, people can't help but wonder what other silent struggles she went through. What else did she never say out loud? What pain did she carry all alone? The smile that once looked perfect now tells a different story, one of strength, sadness, and a quiet fight that lasted a lifetime. And maybe, just maybe, that's what made her truly unforgettable. Jane Fonda's life looked like a dream to the outside world, full of lights, fame, and applause, but her journey through love was filled with heartbreak, confusion, and quiet pain that few people ever knew about. She fell in love deeply, more than once, hoping each time that this would be the one who would finally see her, understand her, and stay. But love was never simple for Jane. Her first marriage was to a French filmmaker, and it seemed romantic and artistic from a distance. But behind closed doors, it was full of pressure and control. She changed herself to fit his world, tried to become what he wanted, and lost little pieces of her own voice along the way. Then came her second marriage, to a political activist. And although it looked like a powerful team, there were cracks in their connection that grew over time. Jane again gave her all, but slowly began to realize that she was disappearing in the process. Her third marriage to a billionaire promised stability and peace, but instead, it brought silence and distance. Each time she hoped for something real, something lasting, and each time she walked away more hurt than before. But why did love fail her again and again? Was she choosing the wrong people? Or was she still searching for the kind of love she never got as a child? She once admitted that she didn't even know how to truly love herself until very late in life. She was always trying to earn love by changing herself, being perfect, being quiet when she wanted to scream. And through it all, she kept working, kept smiling, while her heart quietly broke in the background. These failed marriages weren't just about broken promises. They were signs of something deeper, something missing inside her that she had tried to fix through relationships. But no one could fill that space. No matter how rich or famous or passionate they were, people saw her walking red carpets alone and assumed she was strong and independent. But behind that strength was a woman who had given so much love and received so little in return. Her loneliness was never loud, but it was there, like a shadow that followed her through the years. Even now, as she faces the final chapters of her life, she speaks about love with both wisdom and sadness. She says she no longer needs a partner because she has finally found peace within herself, but it took a lifetime of pain to get there. The world looks back at her beautiful photos, her powerful speeches, and her incredible films. But the truth behind her eyes tells another story, one filled with the kind of emotional wounds that no one ever applauded, no one ever awarded, and yet shaped the woman the world will never forget. And the question still remains, did Jane ever truly find the love she was searching for? Or did she spend her whole life trying to heal from the love she never had? No one was prepared when Jane Fonda stood in front of the world and shared something that shook everyone's heart. She had been diagnosed with cancer. The news didn't come from a newspaper or a rumor. It came from Jane herself, calmly but powerfully, as if she had already made peace with the storm heading her way. People gasped, fans cried, and the world stopped for a moment. How could someone so strong, so active, so full of life, be carrying something so dangerous inside her? Jane had always been the symbol of courage, a woman who never backed down, who spoke out when others stayed silent, and who kept going when most would have given up. But now, it felt like life had thrown her its hardest test yet. What made the moment even more emotional was how she spoke about it. She didn't act like a victim. She said she wasn't afraid. She said she had lived a full life, but in her eyes, there was something else, a softness, a quiet sadness, maybe even a little fear that she didn't want the world to see. Behind those calm words were years of strength being tested again. The world started asking questions. What kind of cancer was it? How long had she known? Was she hiding the pain all this time while still smiling for cameras? Why did she choose to tell everyone now? The mystery made people feel closer to her, but also more helpless, because even someone like Jane, who always seemed in control, was now facing something she couldn't fix with bravery alone. It was a reminder that even legends are human. Fans went back to watch her old interviews, her speeches, her moments on screen, trying to find clues. Was she already feeling tired then? Was there a hidden message in her recent words about slowing down? Had she been saying goodbye in small ways all along, and no one noticed? This news didn't just change how people saw Jane. It made them think about time, about health, about what it means to really live. Jane had always lived big, with fire and purpose, and now she was walking through one of life's hardest paths with the same grace. But even as she said she would fight it, there was a deep, unspoken feeling that maybe this time was different. Maybe this was her final fight. Or maybe, just maybe, she was preparing us for something. The way she spoke, the way she carried herself, made people feel both inspired and heartbroken, because no one wanted to say goodbye, but Jane's eyes quietly told us that goodbye might already be on the way. And as the world watches closely, wondering what comes next, one thing is clear. This news was not just about illness, it was about a chapter ending, a light slowly fading, and a woman who had given everything now facing the one battle no one can escape. When Jane Fonda said she was stepping back, when she quietly spoke the word goodbye, the world didn't know what to feel. Was it a soft farewell, or was there something more hidden behind that calm voice? Jane didn't cry. She didn't break down, but the way she said it made everything feel heavier, as if this wasn't just a break from work, but a silent signal that something was ending. People listened closely, trying to understand the deeper meaning behind her words. Was she done with acting? Or was she saying goodbye to life as we know it? That's what made this moment so powerful, so mysterious, and so full of emotion. Jane had always been a fighter through illness, heartbreak, criticism, and age. But now, for the first time, it felt like she was tired, not just physically, but tired from carrying a whole lifetime of battles. Her fans could feel it. There was no big event, no dramatic exit, just a quiet, thoughtful goodbye that felt more real than anything she had ever said on camera. She told her audience she needed to slow down, to focus on her health, to be present in her remaining time. And those words hit hard, because when someone who has spent their entire life in the spotlight, changing the world, suddenly starts pulling away, it means something. Was she trying to leave with dignity? Was she trying to prepare us so it wouldn't hurt so much later? These questions filled every corner of social media, every fan group, every headline. Everyone wanted to know, was this really it? Or was Jane planning something final, one last message, one last act that would leave a mark forever? The suspense grew stronger with every new interview, every new post, where her words became slower, softer, and full of meaning. She didn't need to say too much. Just her silence in certain moments said everything. Some fans believed she was still holding something back, some truth, some final thought. Maybe even a farewell message she hadn't shared yet. Others felt she was simply choosing peace, a quiet life away from the noise, and maybe that was her way of winning the last battle with grace. Still, the curiosity refuses to fade. Is this the end of an era, or just the beginning of her final story? What will be her last public words? What legacy does she still want to leave behind before time takes its turn? Jane Fonda's goodbye isn't loud, but it's deep. It's the kind of goodbye that doesn't just close a door. It leaves you standing in the silence, wondering if you'll ever hear that voice again. And maybe that's what Jane wanted all along. Not applause, not attention, but a goodbye that makes the world stop, feel, and remember.